England are through to their second successive tournament semi-finals. Its coming home is ringing all the way from Devon to Darlington, but can it really? The Danes continue to ride the crest of form, but can the underdogs become the overdogs in this fiery English test? Elsewhere, Spain narrowly scraped past Switzerland in what can only be described as the worst penalty shootout of all time. United v Sunderland, eat your heart out. And Italy make it 5-5 with a convincing 2-1 victory over other favourites Belgium. But we don't look to the past, we look ahead. And Alex and I today will be talking about the two semi-finals filled with intrigue and consisting of four teams who did not make the semi-finals last Euros round. So it's going to be an interesting time, Alex. What have you made of the quarterfinals?
The quarterfinals were fun to watch. The England one I don't really remember. That was a great night. I have to say that was splendid. Okay, before that, Denmark, Czech Republic. That was interesting to see Denmark blow apart the Czechs, and then like before the Spain game. Yeah. The penalty shoot I don't think was awful necessarily. I mean the Lloris. I don't know. Lloris's goalkeeping still angers me for the French one. But it's funny to see Switzerland go out. And Italy, Belgium, yeah, that was. I don't know why Roberto Martinez is going to keep his job. He should have gone.
He should have gone. And I'll probably take this time, despite scraping past Switzerland, to offer an apology to all Spanish fans and especially Luis Enrique. I had slated Spain and their chances before the tournament, and well, they've pretty much proven me wrong. I think those 10 goals in 2 games sort of flattered to deceive, but you know what? Spain probably deserve to be where they are right now. And
I think with Spain, it's weird. It seems like every major international tournament, they start really slowly. Like even you think 2008, 2010, 2012. I'm pretty sure they lost their group game in I think at least 2 of those, their first one. So it does seem to be a trend where they start slowly and then they just get stronger and stronger as the tournament goes on.
I mean, it's probably a coincidence that they stopped winning after Octopus Paul died. Predicted them to win 2 tournaments in a row. But yeah, that's a bit still more question marks over Spain than I believe any other team of the 4. But even with that being said, Alex, I feel like Italy should have had an easier job against Belgium, but it sort of looked tougher than they made it out to be.
Yeah, I don't know. In contrast, I actually think Italy have got a little weaker as the tournament's gone on. I mean, first of all, we should pat ourselves on the back. I'm pretty sure in November we said, well, mainly me, I convinced you, that we said Italy will play Belgium in the quarterfinals and Italy will win.
And I said Italy won't.
Yeah, and then I convinced you, so you can still claim it. But yeah, I don't know. They don't look anywhere near as strong as they did in the group stage. I don't know what it is. It's hard to put a finger on it, but their attack is not as amazing as I thought it would be. I think that's what's it. Like I really like their midfield, and the defense is really strong. But Spinazzola, their right-footed left-back's been the leading light in attack, and now he's out. I'm looking at this team with Emerson at left-back. I'm a bit more like, it's kind of beatable. And I know Spain haven't been fantastic defensively, but still, I'm a little more torn for this game.
I mean, you are right to point out that his Spinazzola's injury will be huge because he has been Italy's best player. And it's interesting because Emerson was a bit part player for Chelsea, yet he's still the left back. I mean, there were a few questions asked about that because Matteo Darmian wasn't selected and he can cover both flanks pretty well. He did that for Inter, especially in Ashley Young's absence. What a sentence to say. But the other thing is that I believe Alessandro Florenzi is injured as well. And he often covered left back when he was playing at PSG, and he has played that for Italy. And he would inspire a bit more confidence in me than Emerson. But I think the other point to note is that Spain's right wing has been pretty powerful, especially with Sarabia and Pau Torres coming in from the right. And now Sarabia being a bit of an injury concern, throws that all up in the air. is that who's going to win that battle of Italy's left flank, Spain's right flank. I think that's where the match might be won or lost. Spain have a slight historical advantage with Italy head to head. They've won 12 out of the 34, 13 of those ending in stalemates, and the rest going to victories. Italy have won the last tournament game, which was at the last Euros, sort of taking revenge for the loss in the 2012 final, I believe. But
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, this is the most played fixture in the Euros history, Spain versus Italy. So there's a lot riding on this. But Alex, I wanted to ask you, towards the end of the Spain game, you had Thiago Alcantara coming on, and Spain looked a bit more solid with him in the side. And just wanted to pose, the question is that does Enrique make the gamble and put on Thiago? I know Pedri's played a fantastic tournament and he's only 18 years old, but do you trust the experience of someone like Thiago to play in a game versus a team that's as well put together as Italy, or do you go for the wild card that is Pedri?
Oh, it's a good question, I think that's what I was looking at. The midfield battle was the most fun area. Because on like Italy's side, you've got Barella, Locatelli, Jorginho, Verratti, and then Spain have got Koke, Pedri, Rodri, still Thiago, and Busquets. I would be inclined to start Pedri because he's been so magnificent so far. But at the same time, with Marco Verratti in the other team, I get the feeling Verratti would kick the shit out of Pedri until he's off. Like, he would injure him. He'd go out with his mission to injure him, which would be a smart choice from Italy. But at the same time with Enrique, if he's thinking similar to you, I don't think anything's going to stop him. Because one thing he's proven so far is that he'll do whatever he thinks is best. And maybe Thiago could come on, but before the England game, I would have said there's no chance because Thiago has only played 51 minutes this tournament. But Sancho was started by Southgate, and he'd only played 7 minutes of this tournament. So anything is kind of possible here. I think I would be inclined to start Thiago, which is a shame because Pedri's been great. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, and then taking from Jadon Sanchez segues beautifully into England's selection headache that Gareth Southgate will have, and I had a couple of minutes thinking about this after the game. I can maybe see England going to a back three, and I'll tell you why. It's because though Jadon Sancho, didn't score a goal or lay on an assist, I feel he had a really, really, really good game, especially in terms of occupying all of Ukraine's midfielders and defenders and getting the space that Raheem Sterling, thrives in, and moving from the right flank to the left flank, getting the ball in and nearly scoring a goal, which would have been incorrectly ruled offside if he had gotten it in. I think there is a strong case to be made for Jadon Sancho to keep playing on this right wing, and this might be the time where Gareth, really puts the weight behind his selections. Saka could also start. Grealish probably might not start, given how he prefers Raheem Sterling to start in on the left. But England have a lot of options, and they have enough options to beat this team. Though Denmark's I think the biggest battle will be in the midfield, because you have two defensive midfielders versus two defensive midfielders. You have Højbjerg and Delaney versus Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice. It's going to be a bit of a cagey game if it gets into the midfield, but I want to see Jordan Henderson start. I think he's had 2 second half appearances. He's played good passes. He's scored a goal. He's on good form. And I really wouldn't mind seeing one of the defensive midfielders get dropped for him, because I think one defensive midfielder and Harry Kane and John Stones and Jordan Pickford should be able to handle, Martin Braithwaite, Damsgaard and Casper
So,
Dolberg.
no, I disagree. I think you keep both DMs. I think they've been great, Phillips and Rice. And as well with Højbjerg, he's quite a threat. He's been the most progressive passer at the Euros so far. Like, the most dangerous. It's completely different to how he's played at Spurs. He's played better than any Italian or Spanish midfielder. So I want to make sure I have my fittest players on the pitch. I don't know if Henderson's in that category. And I will say, I must have slandered Southgate 1 out of every 2 podcasts we've done. And I'm very open and happy to admit I'm retracting it all. I think I'm not necessarily retracting it, but I think he's proven himself completely right so far. That his selection choices have been brilliant. Um, if they've been boring, but they've worked very well, and he's got his tactics right every game. So I think you start Rice and Phillips, and the point about Sancho's true because I think Sancho will play on the right wing. I heard Southgate's post match interview, and he said against Ukraine the reason he started Sancho is because he wanted a right-footed winger on the right wing to stretch the back five because that's really important when you're playing a back five. So I can imagine Sancho will go there, and if Mele's playing on left wing, then maybe that will go against him. If you have Sancho going on his outside, that could work quite well. Again,
Yeah, because the space behind Mela and to the left of Vestergaard is where I feel that England can be their most decisive, and that's a kind of reason I want Henderson because if he is to stay with Kyle Walker, at right back or right centre back, which I don't think is the best decision. Given how I thought Walker was one of the worst players, having Walker pass to Henderson and Henderson getting the ball through to the right wing, that could be a very, very effective challenge because while Joachim Miller has probably, may have heavy credentials to be the player of the tournament so far, I think that him going forward and him being part of that forward press leaves Vestergaard exposed, and that's where England can be
but
very
what would the
effective.
logic be like with Rice and Phillips? I think they're undroppable. I think the England defence are undroppable. They've not conceded a goal out of any teams, and I think with that you've got to keep that going. It is to the point now where the only things I would consider changing maybe I think I'd keep Sancho at right wing, and then I'd have Mount in the middle still for his pressing. But if I was to be bold, the only change I'd make there is put Grealish in attacking midfield. But with the Denmark side, it is that Denmark worry me as an England fan because they've got everything going for them now. Like they've got a crazy good team bond after the first game, combined with a really good tactical setup and some dangerous players. Like Kasper Dolberg's coming, he's been brilliant. Alexa's talking about it as well. But yeah, you've got Dolberg up front. You've got Damsgaard as well as being in great form. Højbjerg, as I said, the best midfielder in this tournament until Pogba got knocked out. And then the defence is decent.
And they have Poulsen on the bench. They have Poulsen on the bench, which is what impresses me about Denmark is that without Eriksen and Poulsen, they've been doing even better. And that's either very surprising or like this is the magic of the Euros. And Denmark are really channeling the spirit of the 1992 victors who sort of didn't have a prayer and then took the sermon to the stands. It's a very interesting narrative that is surrounding this Danish team, which people don't want to die. Like neutrals want to see Denmark go all the way. And you're right. I think Denmark can scare England, but the main thing, as always, with Southgate's tactics will be to get that first goal. If England get that first goal, they are not losing. They are not losing in any way. And I think that comes down a lot to players like Mason Mount, who I think is getting the credit he duly deserves now. Obviously, he had that little hiccup with, I believe it was Billy Gilmore after the Scotland game where he had to quarantine for COVID. But in terms of like progressively getting the ball up, Mount is very useful. But also in defense, when Mount can recycle the ball back to the DMs, and the DMs can do it to Shaw, Maguire. You can have that, the last, I believe it was the last 10 minutes versus Ukraine, where they were just passing the ball around and everyone in Wembley was screaming "Ole" at every pass.
Yeah.
It was, it was absolutely.
It was
madness.
beautifully sideways. It was so bad and boring. I loved it. That was after falling up one. Southgate just said, "All right, now we don't let them have a touch." I think I was listening to Tifo football last night. I think man for man, England are clearly not clearly, but man for man, England are the better team. Like they have got better players. It is just kind of a wonder. The interesting worry would be if England do go down, then how do they react? Because they haven't had that this tournament. And I think a kind of similar thing happened to City in the Champions League final, where they went down and didn't really know what to do. So I guess with this England side, well, it's so tough. And I think Denmark are the team I didn't want to play because they're all with Italy and Spain. It's a bit more of a known quantity where I feel like Southgate would have had his like let's say Southgate's got his plans pre-tournament. I feel like with Spain and Italy, they're largely remaining intact. I reckon with Denmark, he's had to rip them up slightly because there's so much of an unknown quantity about this Denmark side that they could actually roll over everyone in this tournament. And I don't want England to lose to Denmark, especially because I feel like then it sends... It damages England's sort of confidence a bit. I think coming out of this Euros, if they beat Denmark, then they could say, right, we are a top nation now. We've beaten Germany. You know, we got out of the groups. In the last World Cup, we got to the semis. If they lose to Denmark, I feel like it'll be easy to say, oh, you just lost to another sort of meh team.
Yeah, and I think if England do go behind, I feel like this is where England's bench will be tested really well. Players like Foden, players like Grealish, and players like Rashford, who can really come in and make a threat. And the thing is that England haven't needed that. Like, imagine a fully fit Phil Foden and Marcus Rashford coming on against tired legs to try and get a goal. That's an exciting proposition. But Southgate hasn't needed to exercise that because he set his team up in a way that they've never needed it. Like, no team has gone 6 straight clean sheets in the Euros history. England could be that team. England, Gareth Southgate's England could be that team. It's magical to see how far they've come. And due credit to Gareth Southgate for playing Jadon Sancho for the full 90. I was quite worried that he'd bring him off, but now he's given everyone bar Jack Grealish and Marcus Rashford a starting chance.
No, Grealish started.
Grealish
yeah, he started against the Czech Republic.
Oh,
so Rashford's the only one, and in fairness, I don't think Rashford's really justified a start.
I mean, he's been injured, and as a United fan, I'm glad. He's done his bit for club and country. He's done his other bit for country this last year. So I guess he can be spared, but he can come in and like be a nuisance. He has that understanding with Shaw. Push comes to shove, that's a great plan B to have. I don't know if Denmark have that much of a plan B. If Denmark go down 1 goal or maybe even 2, it's going to be hard for them to recover because they're going to have to. Because if England score 1 goal, they'll be hungry for the second. Like that, this last match has proven that, and especially if Kane gets on the scoring sheet, he's an informed striker. Once he gets a goal, he'll start off going to the races. And when Southgate said that, he was laughed at. They said, oh, all Kane needs is 1 goal and then he'll go on. And they say, oh, he shouldn't need just that 1 goal. And then Kane got the first goal and then he got 2 more after that. And all of England's goals have, not been from penalties or free kicks. And that's really encouraging to see because England are managing to get the goals from open play and get the goals from set pieces. I mean, the delivery from both was amazing. And what I noticed in the last game was that a midfielder, a striker, and a defender all scored and assisted against Ukraine. Wow. And that's a powerful certification of everything that Southgate has built this team to become. And they're a young team.
They're the youngest team in this tournament.
Pretty young team. Youngest team in this tournament. You look at people like Foden and Sancho. They're 2021. Rice is 25. Phillips is 25.
Is 22.
Rice is 22. Oh, wow. Mount is about 23, 22,
he's 21,
I believe.
I think, as well. He's younger than you think.
Oh, my. I guess Sterling... Is Sterling the elder statesman of the squad or Walker?
Let me have a quick look. Let me get the England squad up. So... I'll get
Raheem
up on
Sterling is the
right
elder
now.
statesman.
So I'll let you guess. I'm going to make... Okay, so... He's the oldest. I think... Old... Oh, okay. It's a joint between 2 players. Do you want to guess?
Kane and Walker?
Kyle Walker is one. Jordan Henderson's the other. Both 31 years. Both 31 years old. Then the next 2. The next one is Kieran Trippier at 30. Then it's tied Mings and Maguire at 28. Sterling's 26. Kane 20.
Tyrone Mings
Sterling's
is
26.
old.
Kane's 27. Kane's older than Sterling. That's interesting. Shaw is 25. Mount 22. Reece James 21. Stone's 27. Calvin Phillips is 25, a little older. Yeah, Rice is 22.
Yeah.
Saka's 19, Foden 21, Bellingham 18, Rashford. No,
Rashford's
Rashford's 23.
25, I believe.
So yeah, very
Oh
young
my
team.
god. Like this team, the way they are playing and the way they're set up, and you look at the kind of backups they have, it's an
Well, the weird
actual,
thing for me, the weird thing for me with England is
embarrassment of
if it goes to
riches.
penalties, I back them. I've been reading into. There was a good piece on the Athletic about the background work England's done with penalties, and they've completely changed it. Like even small things where before, when the whistle went, England's penalty takers instantly ran up and hit the ball, which is shown to like, is statistically it completely worsened your chances of scoring. But now England players will take a break. They've done so much work on penalties. Like, if it goes to penalty shootouts, I'm backing them like United and Villarreal. I'm expecting every single one to go to the top corner. I'm genuinely quite confident for them. Here's a question though: if Sterling scores or assists and England get through to the final, right, and nothing crazy happens in the final, is Sterling player of the tournament? And if not, who is?
I'd say player of the tournament is maybe down to four people. I heard somewhere that Jorginho would get the player of the tournament if Italy won, and I don't really buy it because I don't even think he's been their most effective midfielder. Yes, he's been played the most, but I guess right now because Spinazzola's injured, I would have had Spinazzola like all the way through. I think Sterling is definitely there with a shout. Joachim Myler is definitely there with a shout. Either one of Damsgaard or Dahlberg, if they score or do more, is worth a shout. And
Nah, Damsgaard and Dolberg are out of it. They haven't done anything in the. Damsgaard scored once in the group stage, and I think he's too obscure. I think Mailer's on the verge of it. I actually I don't know if it's bias keeping him, but you look at Spain. I think Pedri's getting the golden boy.
Petri's definitely getting the goal.
But Pedri's got that written all over. But besides him, there's not actually a standout in that Spain team.
But Busquets didn't play the first two games, and
he's only played
kind
3
of
games.
yeah, that's kind of what's going against Maguire because I believe like he could definitely be in a shout. But the other person who has also not played 2 games and isn't with a shout, if he continues his form, is Luke Shaw. Is that 3 assists? He's
not. He's not. He's been very good, but for player of the tournament, he's not above Myler.
Yeah, Myler. Between Myler, Sterling, and maybe either Bonucci or Chiellini.
Or Jorginho.
Not Jorginho. If Jorginho
he's been
gets it,
great.
I'll be angry. Yeah, but he's been a sideways sticker. Verratti, Locatelli, Barella have done much more of the work. And it's not like he needs to...
No.
He doesn't need to shield the defense either because Chiellini and Bonucci pretty much handle that.
Right, you can hear my clicking in the background because I'm hopefully about to prove you wrong.
Let's see.
Fairness, he's not there anymore. Right, so Di Lorenzo's completing the most tackles for Italy. Jorginho was up there. Hang on, I'm desperately looking for stats because earlier in the tournament. Yeah, okay. So Jorginho's completed the most interceptions at Euro 2020, just behind N'Golo Kante, and obviously Kante's out. I am sure if I go to Footbreath as well, this is Eurowatch. You can hear Alex get the stats up. We're going to Euro 2020, and we're gonna get the progressive passing stats up, and we're going to see where Jorginho ranks, because I think he's been very good, and the sideways merchant thing is an insult, and I'm not having that. So passing,
sideways merchant. It's just that his passing and what he has to do is much more conservative. He'll get himself into higher positions and play the passes sideways to enhance width. But I believe he's not their most effective midfielder.
Jorginho is the most effective midfielder at getting the ball into the final third for Italy.
Well, there goes me.
He's their best passer at getting it into the final third. He's their most progressive passer by Footbreath 2. Is there anything else I can get it? I'm gonna guess he's completed. So let's see if he's completed the most long balls. Bonucci's completed the most long balls for Italy.
Of course he has. It's Bonucci.
But the final third thing. Jorginho ranks 5th in the tournament. The only person ahead of him is Toni Kroos, Germany, which shows how ridiculous he played. He's played 4 games and he's top for final third passes. And for progressive passes, Jorginho is 8th. And the only people ahead of him are Kroos, Daley Blind, Pedri. Pedri's 3rd. Wow. What a tournament.
That's how good he is, and he's only 18.
Yeah. amazing stuff from him.
He's
in
going to be a
highlights, that fall.
destroyer. Like between him, Frankie De Jong, and well, whoever else is going to be in midfield, Barcelona are maybe like
Oh yeah,
have better chances this year.
I've made a personal promise to us. I'm gonna watch Barcelona next season. You got Depay, De Jong, Pedri in there. Still
Aguero!
got possibly still Messi. Oh my god, it's so
Possibly
much fun.
Griezmann. Although there
unless-
are rumblings that Griezmann might go to Man City.
I'm a lot less excited about him. I'm more excited about watching Pedri and De Jong work in midfield. That would just be so much fun to watch.
Well, so that's Alex and me covering the semi-finals. The episode should be out to you very soon. We hope you all have a fun time watching it. And we'll be back after the semi-finals to preview finals, which should hopefully, in my opinion, be Italy versus England. But who knows?
Should we do some final to end it? Should we just quickly predict?
Okay. I'm going. I'm going 2-0.
Well, what's the
England.
final? What's the final we'll be watching?
Italy versus England. I believe it will.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go complete opposite of you. Well, not complete.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna go Spain v England.
Spain v England. Ooh.
Yes.
Oh my. That is interesting.
You can go back to your scripted outro.
So that's Alex and me on these semi-finals. We're looking forward to have you listen again when we preview the finals. As this this odyssey that started 7 months ago between Alex and I is slowly coming to a close. We really want to thank everyone for listening in. It's been something fun we do, which has turned into something more. You can follow me at Rithik J Sarkar on Twitter. You can follow Alex at EuroExpert_ on Twitter.
Yeah. Just type in Eurexpert on any platform and it'll pop up.
Yeah, and we have video versions of this pod on Alex's YouTube channel as well, if that's somewhere you get your podcasts. But from then, it's goodbye from me.
And a goodbye from me.